My boyfriend and I have been in love for 10 years, and I thought I could enter the palace of marriage, but I unexpectedly discovered that the name on our marriage certificate was not me.at this time. I received a call. Is it Ms. Song Tian Tian? Mr. G registered his marriage with us. And for some reason, we need to verify the information with you. I was stunned all of a sudden. Ji Jingming is obviously my boyfriend. Why would he marry someone else? And the person who married his teacher's daughter was his teacher. I quickly reminded the other party. Are you mistaken? Isn't it written on the marriage application form, Lu Yiling? After saying that, I was confused. Why didn't you call me when you filled out the application form? Doesn't it have to be 2 people to get a marriage certificate? The other party hurriedly said. That's right. Mr. G also specially reminded me to call Song Tian Tian and wrote several applications. I'm sorry. Maybe the number is written wrong. The other application forms are written with another number. It should be Mr. J's mistake. Sorry. I'm sorry to disturb you. The other party hung up the phone after speaking, and I didn't realize until I heard the busy sound on the phone. Ji Jingming filled out the marriage application form. It was not my name at all. He never thought about marrying me from the beginning. If only one was written wrong, it would be understandable, but he wrote several wrong ones. I clenched my fists, but my body still trembled uncontrollably. Is it finally this day? Am I finally going to lose Ji Jingming? This long-distance love run that has been talked about for 10 years finally has a winner. But unfortunately, that winner is not me. In fact, in recent years, many signs have been revealed, and they are becoming more and more obvious. But I am not willing to give up this relationship. At that time, Ji Jingming had nothing. His biological parents were in a car accident, and none of the relatives at home were willing to help him. So I picked him up from downstairs and begged my parents to take him in. At that time, he was only 15 years old. His lips were pursed tightly. His eyes were red. He hugged me hard and said that he would definitely repay me in the future. I never asked him to repay me. I just felt that he was too pitiful and needed someone to accompany him. When he was 20 years old, he confessed to me. And Ji Jingming said that he would spend his whole life treating me well. But it just so happened that year, my father had an accident. My mother and I were immersed in grief. But Ji Jingming proposed to drop out of school to do business. He was very decisive, and there was no room for me to keep it at all. I knew that he was considerate of my mother. And when my father left, my mother couldn't support the tuition of me and him. He has been gone for 10 years. In these 10 years, as long as we have time, we will text each other and share the bits and pieces of our respective lives. I have always regarded Ji Jingming as an inseparable part of my life. But now, my heart is like bleeding, but I can't pretend that nothing happened. I took out my phone to send him a message, and looking at the text on the screen, my eyes stung during this time. It was all I sent him messages unilaterally, and he occasionally replied with one word. Busy. Obviously he didn't say much, but I always felt that I was disturbing him. And while I was full of guilt and didn't want to bother him anymore, I couldn't help but want to talk to him, because I loved him and wanted to be close to him. My eyes were so sore, and I had to ask about some things, and I sent him it. Did you write the name on the marriage application wrong? The marriage registry office called me. After sending it out, I thought it would still sink into the sea as usual, but I didn't expect Ji Jingming to reply to the message. He said, Ling, I wrote the wrong name. You and I are already a de facto couple. Whether you are the same on the marriage certificate, the position of my wife in my mind is you. My mind went blank all of a sudden, and I didn't understand what he meant at all. I suppressed the pain in my heart and shook my fingers to reply to him. You want to commit bigamy, or turn me, my girlfriend, into your and Song Tianshan's mistress outside of marriage. Ji Jingming didn't start typing after a while. Losing. I suddenly ignited hope in my heart. He must have a hard time. As long as he can explain clearly, I cannot care about this matter. Just write a new copy of the marriage application. I pray silently in my heart. Please give me a reasonable explanation. But in the end, he only sent a few short words. I can't be sorry for the teacher, and I must protect Tian Tian. Tears fell on the mobile phone screen all of a sudden, blurring the words on it, and my heart hurt like a knife. I closed my eyes, wiped away my tears. My brain hurt badly, but I still forced myself to calm down. And I asked him, what about me? You can't be sorry for your teacher. You can't be filial to your master. And you can't help but love your sweet sister. Do I deserve to wait for you for 10 years? Ji Jingming, what do you think of me? When he was desperate, a life-saving rope, or is he just using me as a tool to survive? A chill rushed from the soles of my feet to the top of my head. I was shivering from the cold. No. So many years of relationship. If you pretend, how can you pretend to be so long? Ji Jingming didn't explain any further, but only told me, I'll give you an explanation when I go back. But when I sent another message, I found that I had been blocked by him. At that moment, I was numb from the pain. And sure enough, the people closest to me know how to hurt you the most. I flipped through our chat records over and over again. 10 years. I can recall too much, but the more I remember, the more I can't sleep. And I have insomnia all night. Is it really over with Ji Jingming and me? But even if it doesn't end, what else? Is such an embarrassing and humble love really what I want? A month later, Ji Jingming came back. As soon as my mother heard that he was coming back, She quickly dried the quilt for him and cooked his favorite meals. We waited for him at home, but he didn't come back until 11 o'clock in the evening. That my mother couldn't hold on, so she went to bed first. I didn't eat for a day. My body was very cold. I sat at the table, looking at the phone record over and over again. I called him a lot, but no one answered. I took a deep breath, thinking about one last call, and if it didn't work again, I would give up completely. Unexpectedly, the phone actually went through. I was surprised and happy, and quickly said, Xingming. But what came from the other end of the phone was a girl's soft voice. Brother Xingming is taking a bath. Do you have anything to do with him? We met with our parents today. He drank a lot of wine. If there is nothing important, can you talk to Brother Xingming tomorrow? Brother, Ji Zhengming's note to me. Is it actually my sister? It turned out that my 10-year relationship was only exchanged for the identity of a sister in the end. I said in a hoarse voice. It's okay. Hang up. But how can it be okay? I covered my head, shedding tears in silence, not even daring to cry loudly, for fear that my mother would hear and worry about me. At this moment, my heart seemed to be cut open, and the person holding the knife was the bamboo horse I had loved for more than 10 years. And this whole night was like a nightmare. The next day, Ji Xingming finally came back. He entered the door to greet my mother first. My mother responded lukewarmly. She probably also felt that something was wrong with me, so she also lost her enthusiasm for Ji Xingming. The hot on the table was the leftover food from yesterday. Ji Xingming looked at the food and was stunned for a moment, then picked up the dishes and chopsticks and sat down to eat. Seeing him eating in big mouths, my mother's face looked a little better, but I know that he obviously doesn't like leftovers the most. And he did this just to reduce the guilt in his heart. My mother didn't ask much, cleaned up the dishes and chopsticks after eating, and went downstairs to exercise. Ji Xingming helped bring the dishes to the kitchen. I washed the dishes slowly. He looked at me, came over to hug me, but I avoided him. Ji Xingming pursed his lips. The blue veins on his forehead jumped. His voice was full of fatigue and disappointment. And he said, "Ah, Ling, I thought you would understand me." My eyes were hot, and I asked him aggrievedly, "How should I understand? You go to the street and ask a random girl to see what she thinks of her partner and other women getting the certificate." After saying the last word, tears fell uncontrollably. Ji Xingming panicked for a moment, picked up a tissue to wipe my tears. He sighed heavily and said, "I grew up with you. You should know my heart. The only thing I can do now is to give Tian a title, so that the people around me will not bully their mother and daughter." My heart suddenly ached. He respected Teacher Song. I can understand. But has he ever thought that my mother and I are also a vulnerable group? And what is the difference between the mother and daughter of the Song family? After waiting all night, I finally waited for my judgment, and this relationship was paid by me wrong after all. I put down the dishes and chopsticks and said in an indifferent tone, "Ji Xingming, let's break up." Ji Xingming froze all of a sudden. He gritted his teeth, looked down at me, took a few deep breaths, and asked, "Are you serious? You know that I only have responsibilities for Tian, no other feelings. You are the only one I like from beginning to end. Even so, do you still want to break up?" He bit the word responsibility very hard. How ridiculous. He is responsible for Song Tian, but not for me. I looked at him, wanting to see clearly what he was thinking. But between us, not only was there a Song Tian, I couldn't see him clearly. Seeing that I didn't speak, Ji Xingming couldn't help but say again, "Don't think too much. I only love you. I will hold a wedding with you. Everyone will know that you are my wife. It's just that there is no marriage certificate. There will be no change between us. But I can't deceive myself. From the moment his wife and Song Tian appeared, there had been irreversible changes between me and him, even changes that he himself did not notice." I said mockingly, "Bigamy. How dare you? Don't you want your future?" Ji Xingming. He is now the boss of a listed company, and I don't believe he doesn't value his future, but he worked hard to get it. Ji Xingming looked at me and said, "I know you still love me, so why don't you do this first?" I first got the certificate with my junior sister to protect their mother and daughter. And my wife said, "As long as Tianshan's job is stable, we will divorce, and it will only take a few years. You have waited for 10 years, and it is not bad for this or 2 years, right?" My heart stopped suddenly, and then beat rapidly, and now Ji Xingming makes me feel particularly strange. And Ji Xingming, who once promised me that he would never let me suffer a little grievance, is not the same person at all. He also said, "When I repay this kindness, I will stay with you for the rest of my life." I know, he can't listen to what I say, but it doesn't matter. We won't get married anyway. At this time, his phone rang, and I saw the word "sweet" displayed on the screen. He glanced at me vigilantly, took the phone and walked to the balcony to answer the phone. I don't know what was said on the other end of the phone. Ji Xingming only said okay, and then came over and wanted to hug me again. But after I avoided him, his voice became cold and hard. "I still have something to deal with today. When I finish dealing with it, I will take you to dinner." After saying that, he turned around and left. I squatted on the ground dejectedly, holding my head and reflecting on myself. What went wrong? Or is our relationship simply not able to withstand a little test? Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and the anxious voice of the neighbor came in. "Ah, Ling. Oh no, your mother fainted." I stood up suddenly. My eyes darkened. And I was very scared. Mom, I only have my mother now. I must not lose my mother. Soon, 120 sent my mother to the hospital, and my mother woke up on the way, insisting that she was fine, but I insisted on taking her for a comprehensive examination. During the blood draw, we met Song Tian. This girl, as long as Ji Jingming comes back, she will definitely stick to him. And I, the real girlfriend, have to give in every time. Song Tian likes to eat. I can't touch it. I can't even wear the same style of clothes that Song Tian likes. Ji Jingming turned all his guilt into a pampering of Song Tian, and half of the salary he earned was given to their mother and daughter. And at this moment, Song Tian saw me, like a victorious little fox. She smiled and said, "Sister Ailing, why are you in the hospital too? Could it be that he was following Brother Jingming? Why did you still bring your aunt?" "I'm just here with Brother Jingming for a premarital physical examination. You won't make such a fuss, right? Brother Jingming is in your house. Is there still a little freedom?" My mother was stunned by Song Tianshan's words. She turned her head to look at me, frowned and asked, "Ah Ling, what does she mean by this? What is called premarital medical examination?" Song Tian spoke first. "Auntie, I mean, Brother Jingming and I are getting married. You must come to our wedding." The checkpoint in my mother's hand fell to the ground with a snap, and she asked in disbelief, What? Of course she knows my relationship with Ji Jingming. Ji Jingming and I have never hidden it from her. And she also acquiesced to us being together. I hurriedly tried to appease my mother. "Mom, listen to me. Things are not what she thinks." But Song Tian interrupted me and said proudly, "Sister Ailing, don't you still expect Brother Jingming to marry you? What are your advantages compared to me? You are older than me, and you are uglier than me. If I were Brother Jingming, I wouldn't choose you." My mother couldn't hear others say this about me. She rushed up all of a sudden and slapped Song Tian. This time it came too suddenly. I almost didn't react. When I came back to my senses, my mother had been pushed away by Ji Jingming, and Ji Jingming said with a cold face, "Auntie, please respect yourself." My mother reacted, stepped forward and raised her hand to slap Ji Jingming, trembling with anger. "How dare you? How can you do that? Do you know how much my family has paid for you? You're white-eyed wolf." My mother covered her chest angrily and slowly leaned down, and I hurriedly rushed over and supported her shaky body. "Mom, please don't say it. Ji Jingming and I have broken up. Who he marries, it has nothing to do with us. Mom, let's go." I almost begged my mother. Even if I lost, I didn't want to be pointed at like this. Besides, what's the use of fighting for right and wrong? The relationship that can't go back. No matter how much you say, you can't go back. But Song Tian was still adding fuel to the fire. She cried and said, "Brother Jingming, I really just came over to say hello to my aunt. I accidentally said about the premarital physical examination. She thought that I snatched you away from Sister Ling. I can understand auntie, but Brother Jingming and I are really not what you think." Enough. I angrily scolded Song Tian. It's to this point. She's still pretending to be pitiful. Ji Zhengming's cold eyes swept over. He pursed his thin lips, and said with a bit of sarcasm, "Let auntie apologize to Tian, and this matter will pass." My mother looked at Ji Jingming in disbelief and sneered. "What did you say? Let me apologize to this little vixen. Is she worthy?" Song Tian shed tears, took Ji Zhengming's arm and said, "Brother Jingming, I don't care. Although my aunt is wrong, I don't care. And my aunt is an elder. If I have to apologize, I might as well ask Sister Ailing to say sorry to me." I looked at Song Tian coldly and asked, "Where am I sorry for you?" Song Tian looked at Ji Jingming aggrievedly. Ji Jingming looked at my gaze, a little colder. He said, "Apologize, or call the police. You choose one." My heart suddenly fell into the ice abyss. My mother's hand covering her chest moved away. She had a sarcastic smile on her face, and said, "Ji Jingming, you are really promising. Okay, you call the police. I'll wait for the police to detain me." The surroundings were quickly filled with people, all pointing at me and my mother. And someone said, "No, this is really a mother must have a daughter. And you don't apologize for beating someone. Is it so tough?" Others said, "Yes, this is a hospital. There is surveillance everywhere. Are you really afraid of being detained by the police? Or is there a backstage?" Song Tian cried while deliberately saying, "Auntie, I know that my uncle was a police officer. His lifetime." Song Tian. "Shut up. How dare she mention my father?" Ji Jingming immediately stood in front of Song Tian and threatened me coldly. "You shouldn't want your uncle Jiuquan to have no peace, right?" My mother suddenly rolled her eyes and fainted. Song Tian muttered in a low voice, "Pretending to be faint is too low level. Brother Jingming, I don't want to apologize. You let my aunt get up." I hugged my mother and cried to the people around me, "Come on. My mom fainted. Save my mom." The doctor came over quickly, but was stopped by the person next to him. "Leave them alone. It's all pretending. It's too much to beat someone and pretend to faint without apologizing." I looked at Ji Jingming and asked him in a hoarse voice, "Do you also think my mother is pretending? She fainted once this morning. But Ji Jingming frowned and didn't believe me at all. Ah Ling. When I left in the morning, my aunt was obviously fine. There were more and more voices pointing around. And even the doctor began to waver. I closed my eyes. And when I opened them again, my eyes were full of coldness. I didn't look at Ji Jingming anymore, and said to Song Tian, I'm sorry, my mother shouldn't have beaten you. I apologize to you for her. Please forgive me. Song Tian immediately showed a proud look and said pretendedly, Sister A Ling, don't say that. I don't care. Brother Jingming, you are a public figure, and it is not good to be photographed. Let's go first. After saying that, she took Ji Zhengming's hand. Ji Jingming just stiffened for a moment, saw that I didn't even look at him, and then looked at the slap prints on Song Tian's face without the slightest hesitation, and took her to see her face. I begged the people around me over and over again, who can help me? My mother really fainted. Please believe me. My voice was almost hoarse, and just when I was desperate, a doctor suddenly squeezed in from the crowd. He checked my mother's condition, and immediately shouted to the people around him, Quick, the patient is dying. Send it to the operating room right away. The doctors immediately rushed over, and Ji Jingming in the distance just glanced this way, and Song Tian asked nervously, Could it be that something really happened to Auntie? Ji Jingming said indifferently, Definitely not. Ah Ling's mother's health has always been very good. Tian, don't see them alone in the future. Today's incident, Ji Jingming felt that it was all my mother's fault. But he didn't think about it at all. In the final analysis, he didn't explain it clearly. He thought about finding time in the future and explaining to my mother that he didn't want Song Tian to be implicated by this incident. But when he thought of my attitude just now, he couldn't help but be depressed. Song Tian took Ji Zhengming's arm and said coquettishly, Okay, he'll listen to brother Jingming, but Ji Jingming just gently pulled out his arm and said lightly, Let's go. Song Tian's eyes flashed with a hint of loss. She secretly took out her mobile phone and sent a text message, and it didn't take long for Ji Zhengming's phone to ring. Ji Jingming was already very irritable, but when he saw the name on the caller ID, he hesitated for a few seconds, and still answered, Jingming. Did the master's wife disturb you and Tian? The master's wife fell just now and felt uncomfortable in her heart. Can you come back now? Ji Jingming did not hesitate at all. Master, don't worry, let's go back now. Song Tian raised a triumphant smile on her face, and then pretended to be anxious again, and left with Ji Jingming. She looked back at the hospital bed that the doctor and I were pushing, and a touch of cruelty flashed in her eyes. After my mother was pushed into the operating room, the critical illness notice was quickly delivered to me, and I could hardly stand still and was supported by the nurse next to me. The nurse comforted me. This lady, you have to hold on. Your mother is not out of danger yet. I asked the doctor next to me with red eyes. Excuse me, what's wrong with my mother? The doctor said, It's a very serious heart disease. But don't worry, a specialist came to our hospital today. I have called him. As long as he comes, your mother will still be saved. I bowed deeply to the doctor and thanked him again and again. If I could change my mother's health, I would do anything. The lights in the operating room kept on, and at this moment, Ji Jingming came, and when he saw that I was just looking at the lights in the operating room in a daze, he immediately frowned. Ah Ling, do you think it's interesting? Who is it for here? Don't tell me that your mother is in the operating room, and there is a limit to pretending to be sick. I turned my head mechanically and looked at him, not understanding what he meant for a while. He added, If you let your mother pretend to have a heart attack and go into the operating room to mess around, is this how you force me to turn back? My heart is completely dead. Dead thoroughly. I glared at him like an enemy, gritted my teeth and said, Please get out. I don't want to see you again. Because of too much force, blood oozed directly from the corners of his mouth. Ji Zhengming's eyes shrank, and he was a little angry by my resistance and disgust. It's obviously my aunt's fault. You can't just protect her just because she is your mother. Ah Ling, you weren't like this before. I sneered. Yes, I used to be too nosy to care about you. Ji Jingming, I regret it. I really regret saving you in the first place. Ji Jingming suddenly clenched his fists. He saw hatred on my face for the first time, and that kind of disgust from the bottom of his heart made him panic for a while. Really? I beg you, don't appear in front of me again. Okay, we're done. I shouted at him hysterically, but he didn't seem to understand it at all. He lowered his head and said in a tone with a hint of grievance, Are you interested in deliberately saying these things that anger me? Ah Ling. You clearly know that I love you. I will wait for you to figure it out yourself. I closed my eyes, turned my head, and didn't want to look at him again. Not long after, the lights in the operating room went out, and the doctor came out and looked at me with a little regret on his face. I'm sorry. This lady. My legs went weak and I fell directly to the ground. I grabbed the doctor's hand and asked eagerly, Didn't you say there are experts? Why still not? The doctor sighed. There is a patient in the hospital, and I asked my teacher to go over. If my teacher can come back now. Maybe it's too late, but the other parties backstage is very hard. I'm afraid we can't afford to wait. I struggled to stand up and asked him, Who is it? Tell me who it is, and I'll beg him. When I heard the 3 words Ji Jingming, I hardly reacted. And then I remembered that Ji Jingming was no longer the boy who had nothing 10 years ago. He is now the boss of a listed company, holding authority in his hands. But why did he use the opportunity that my mother and I tried our best to give him back then to become a sharp sword stabbing my mother? I staggered to Song Tianshan's mother's ward, and sure enough, there was a group of people in the room. And Ji Zhengming's wife was lying on the bed with a ruddy face, not looking seriously ill at all. That I broke into the door, looked at the people in the room, and said eagerly, "Who is Dr. Lee? Please save my mother." Dr. Lee turned his head, looked at me and said, Dr. Lee, Xiaoshan called me. Talking about your mother's surgery, right?" Dr. Lee was actually very anxious, but his mobile phone was taken away, and he couldn't get out. "Yes, it's my mother. Please come with me to see her. Please." "No." Song Tian suddenly scolded me loudly. She rushed over and scolded me with red eyes. "Lu Yiling, you are terrible. You know that my mother's heart is uncomfortable, and you have to call the life-saving doctor away. What kind of heart are you at ease? Do you want to see my mom have an accident so much? I shouldn't marry brother Jingming. I beg you, don't hurt my mother. I don't marry brother Jingming. Okay, it doesn't matter if my mother and I are bullied, as long as my mother is healthy," she said, breaking down and crying. I was so anxious that I didn't have time to talk nonsense with her, so I reached out to pull Dr. Lee. But Ji Zhengming's wife suddenly said weakly, "Forget it, Tian. I don't care. Since Miss Liu wants to breathe a sigh of relief, I can give the doctor to her mother. That is, Miss Liu. I beg you, I will not be here in the future. Can you not embarrass Tian? I beg you," she said, struggling to get up from the hospital bed and kneel down for me. I was so weak by their mother and daughter that I was about to argue with them when Ji Jingming said coldly, "No one is allowed to leave here today. Lu Yiling, you let me down so much. You know that your wife is not in good health, and you want to take away the doctor. How can you be as vicious as your mother? Didn't you say you didn't want to see me before? Now, please leave immediately." I took a few breaths and looked at Ji Jingming. He didn't look like he was joking, and at that moment, I was completely panicked. I stepped forward and grabbed Ji Zhengming's clothes and begged bitterly, "Ji Jingming, I beg you, is it okay to let the doctor save my mother? If Song Tianshan's mother really has a problem, can I pay her for her life? I can't live without my mother. I really can't live without my mother." I knelt down with a pop, hugged Ji Zhengming's leg, and begged him over and over again. Ji Zhengming's eyes shrank, and his fingertips trembled slightly, but in the end, he still didn't reach out to help me. Song Tian nervously pulled Ji Zhengming's arm and whispered, "Brother Jingming, I only have my mother. My father had an accident for you. I don't want to lose my mother anymore. Please." People in the room, look at me. I look at you. What Dr. Lee wanted to say, and finally swallowed it back. And Ji Jingming finally said to me in a cold voice, "You won't go to this point. Auntie is obviously fine. You are messing around. Get out now. I don't care about what you do today. Otherwise, we really won't be able to do it. At this time, he is still mentioning his feelings to me. Does he have a heart?" In the end, I was kicked out of the ward, and a second before the ward door closed, I looked at Ji Jingming in despair, laughing at myself and saying with hatred, "Ji Jingming, do you know, I regret it now. I regret bringing you home in the first place, and I regret everything that happened between me and you. If something happens to my mother, I will never forgive you." Ji Zhengming's heart shook suddenly. He had never seen me so determined, and every word I said made him breathe heavily. How can I regret it? He remembered that the year when he had nothing, I fell from the sky like an angel and extended a saving hand to him. It was I who gave him the only warmth in the world and gave him hope to continue living. But now, I want to take it all back with my own hands. He looked at my lonely back and clenched his fists. He thought I was just angry for a while, and when my wife was safe, he would apologize to me, and he would also ask my mother to forgive him. After all, my mother and I have always been very coaxing. Therefore, Ji Jingming closed the door without hesitation. I heard the sound of the door closing, and the string in my head that had been tense for a long time finally broke, and my eyes went dark and I fainted on the ground. When I woke up again, I was already lying on the hospital bed, and when I remembered that my mother was still on the operating table, I immediately lifted the quilt and was about to get up, but was held down by the doctor. "Don't move. Your body is weak now and cannot move vigorously. It's Dr. Shen, the one who helped me contact the experts before. My mom. How is my mom?" I asked eagerly. "Auntie, she hasn't woken up yet." Hearing this, I breathed a sigh of relief, and finally I could breathe normally. I lowered my head and cried silently, "I'm sorry. It's really useless. I understand you. Your mother is a very amazing person. I have seen her before." I looked at Dr. Shen in surprise, but I didn't have any impression of him at all. Although he was very handsome, but he was very strange. But his temperament was very gentle, which made people feel very at ease. I asked him, "Can I go see my mother? The effect of the medicine on your mother has not yet passed, and I can't see it for the time being. But don't worry." My teacher finally rushed back, but unfortunately the delay was too long. My teacher could only barely save my aunt's life. But he didn't finish his words. But I already understood, and my heart suddenly tugged again. "Thank you. I'm sorry to trouble you. I know that my mother has become like this now. It's not a problem with the hospital. It's all Ji Zhengming's fault. When I think of Ji Jingming, I grit my teeth with hatred. I think clearly. In the future, I will return to the bridge with him. The road will return to the road, and I will never have any involvement again. In the middle of the night, I slept in a daze, and in my dream, I returned to the day I picked up the season, and I stood aside indifferently, looking at the boy who was embarrassed and had red eyes. Ji Jingming is really pitiful. But in my dream, I clearly remember how hateful he is now. I said to him, word by word, Ji Jingming, I don't want you anymore. Suddenly, my wrist was held hard, and a burst of pain came. I suddenly opened my eyes and met Ji Zhengming's eyes. His breath was a little cold, and I asked, what did you just say? I silently withdrew my arm and didn't want to say a word. I thought he was here to see my mother, but he didn't ask about my mother from beginning to end. Just said, Auntie connived at you to mess around like this, so you fainted. Oh Ling, stop making trouble with me. Okay, I'm already very tired. You persuade my aunt more and let her not embarrass Tian Tian and Master's wife. They are all innocent. If my aunt has always had this attitude, then I probably won't go to your house again in the future. I said coldly, you don't use my house. I have nothing to do with you. Ji Zhengming's voice became annoyed. What the hell do you mind? Your mother has no problem at all. It is the master's wife lying on the bed, not your mother. I looked up in shock, and just as I was about to tell the truth, his cell phone suddenly rang. He hesitated for a moment, and said to me, you have a good rest. I'll come to see you again when dawn breaks. I said coldly, no, I don't need you to come see me. He clenched his fists, did not respond, turned around and left. I lay weakly on the bed, thinking, whatever he wants. Anyway, I will never look at him again. After suffering for more than half an hour, I was really anxious. I took out my mobile phone and took a look. In the circle of friends, Song Tian Tian updated a news. In the photo, Ji Jingming was serving her mother drinking tea. That picture, it looked incomparably motherly and filial. I couldn't help but laugh sarcastically. My mother paid so much for Ji Jingming, and in the end, she didn't even get a glass of boiling water. And sure enough, my mother and I didn't have good eyes, and we mistakenly regarded the white-eyed wolf as a savior. Within a few seconds, Song Tian Tian posted another photo of wearing a ring. In the photo, the two hands were tightly clasped together. I looked at the ring. I couldn't help but laugh. Laughing and laughing, tears fell. The ring, designed by my own hands, contained the abbreviations of my and Ji Zhengming's names, and it was the wedding ring I had prepared, and he gave it to Song Tian Tian without my consent. I suddenly felt that I was a complete joke. At this moment, WeChat rang. Everyone who has my WeChat basically has Song Tianshan's WeChat. In the past few days, everyone has also recalled it, sent me messages, and asked me what was going on. I replied, that's what you see. Ji Jingming and I broke up. After posting, I stopped looking at my phone, deleted Song Tianshan's WeChat, deleted Ji Zhengming's WeChat, deleted everything related to him, and then lay on the bed blankly. My heart was cold. Finally, after the infusion, Dr. Shen finally came over to inform me that my mother was going to wake up. I got up excitedly and almost fell. And Dr. Shen had no choice but to push me in a wheelchair to see my mother. But on the way, we met Song Tian Tian. I ignored her, but she looked at me with complicated eyes, and took a photo of our backs. When I saw my mother again, my heart hurt suddenly. In just one day, my mother seemed to be more than a little haggard. Her face was terribly pale. I only took a look, and I was so distressed that I couldn't look directly, but I was reluctant to look at it, because I understood that every glance now may be the last look. Mom, Mom. My lips wriggled and I called her in a low voice, for fear that my breathing would disturb the balance of the instrument. My mother's eyelashes trembled a few times, and she slowly opened her eyes, and my tears couldn't stop falling all of a sudden. The oxygen mask blocked her voice. Her fingers opened slightly. I held her hand carefully. She looked at me lovingly, and there was a hint of distress in it. Obviously, the anesthesia on her body had just passed, and her mind shouldn't be so clear, but she still felt sorry for me when she saw me for the first time. I cried and said, Mom, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I don't like Ji Jingming anymore. Really, I hate him now. I wish I had never met him. I really wish I could kill him, but I don't have that ability. Dr. Shen looked at the value on the instrument and whispered to me, let's say the last few words to Auntie. He gently removed the oxygen mask from my mother's face, and my mother took a few deep breaths, and after calming down, she said to me with difficulty, "Oh Ling, no, don't hate, just do it, be yourself, Mom." Mom went to accompany Dad. Mom missed him. My mother's tears fell, and I cried out of breath. Mom, but I miss you too. I can't live without you. I really can't. I choked up. I can't go on. I can't let my mother go with regrets. I have to make her feel at ease. Oh Ling, love others. Don't want it. Love again. I nodded in a panic and nodded vigorously, as if all the love for Ji Jingming before had now turned into a slap, and I slapped myself in the face. Ji Jingming, it was my retribution. Marriage, not marriage. My mother stubbornly held my hand. looked straight at me, and her eyes were full of anticipation. Dr. Shin came over, looked at the instrument, and then suddenly held my mother and my hands, and he said in a sincere tone, "Auntie, my name is Shin Chingming. I am Chinese New Year's Eve. I have no girlfriend. I have no bad habits. I have a car and a house. I have been helped by my uncle before, and I have always liked Ah Ling. If you don't dislike me, I will take your place. Continue to take care of Ah Ling, and treat her well." My mother's eyes fell on Shin Chengming's body. Her eyes cleared for a moment, and she said softly, "I remember, Xiao Xin. Ah Ling is a good boy. You, Auntie, don't worry. I will treat Ah Ling well, and after we get the certificate, I will show you the marriage certificate." "Okay." My mother finally smiled with satisfaction. She looked at me and said softly, "Burn the copy of the marriage certificate. Burn it to me and your father. He must also want to see if his daughter is married well." My mother said, "Let me take out the ring on my hand and the ring hanging from her neck with a rope. You and Xiao Xin, one for each person. Be good. A Ling. Mom's A Ling. Mom, I can't bear to let you go." My mother's voice became softer and softer, and in the end, there was no sound at all, and her tears were still hanging on her face, like a knife, cutting my heart. Mom, don't. I cried heart-wrenchingly, and then fainted completely. When I woke up again, Dr. Shen was still guarding me. I opened my mouth and realized that my voice was so hoarse that I couldn't make a sound. Shen Qingming looked at me seriously, took out his ID card, household registration book, real estate certificate, car book and passbook, and said to me, "Don't talk. You hurt your throat yesterday. Now, Ah Ling, listen to me." He paused, and then said, "I have already helped you send your aunt to the funeral home, and she will be cremated tomorrow. Ah Ling, you have to fulfill your aunt's last wish. Don't worry. I won't take advantage of others. I just don't want to disappoint my aunt. She is really a very good person." My tears fell all at once. Although Shin Qingming said that my dad had helped him before, he told us that he was a stranger. A stranger, just a day's effort. He knew that my mother was a good person, but Ji Jingming felt that my mother and I were both vicious people. Thinking of my mother's last wish, I looked at Shin Qingming and said to him in a hoarse voice, "Dr. Shen, I have had a particularly bad relationship, and I must make it clear to you, but I can guarantee that I have no nostalgia for my ex, and I hate him very much now. Of course, my mother didn't let me hate him, and I would be a stranger to him in the future. So if you are willing to marry me, I will definitely be good to you. Other than that, I really can't think of any other way to repay him." Shin Qingming sighed helplessly and said, "What are you thinking about? I didn't do this for. Forget it. They'll just wait for you to be good to me in the future." Then he took me to the marriage registry office. Fortunately, now I can register without using the mouth book. And after getting the marriage certificate and copying it, Shin Qingming took me to the market to buy things to see off my mother. He seemed to understand these rules very well. I watched him busy, and I really didn't know what to say to him except to say thank you. So I said again, "Thank you. If it weren't for you, I really don't know what to do." Shin Qingming was helpless again, stretched out his hand and rubbed my head, and said, "Never say thank you to me. It's me who should say thank you." I looked at him in surprise, and before I could react, a cold voice interrupted the atmosphere between the two of us. "What are you doing?" I turned my head and saw that it was the season of competition. My face instantly turned cold, and when I looked at him, my teeth trembled with anger. Shin Qingming hurriedly protected me behind him and asked Ji Jingming, "Is there anything wrong with you?" Ji Jingming was very angry and roared, "Who the hell are you? Can you control me? I'm looking for my girlfriend, and I have a half-time relationship with you." Shin Chengming's eyes were serious, and he looked at Ji Jingming with a little disgust, and smiled inexplicably, which made Ji Jingming anxious, and he was almost about to do it. Of course, I couldn't watch him do something to Shin Qingming. So I immediately took a step forward and asked him in a cold voice, "What are you looking for me for?" I remember we were okay with it. Ji Jingming pulled me aside, glared at Shin Qingming viciously, and then said to me, "Why did you block me? Why did I delete my phone? Why don't you even?" "My friend," I interrupted him directly, saying, "I don't need those. Don't you delete them to disgust yourself." Ji Jingming, don't take yourself too seriously. I don't want you anymore. Do you understand? Ji Jingming was so angry that his breathing was rapid, and he lowered his voice and said, "Ah Ling, what's wrong with you? I don't care about you. You find such a man in order to stimulate me, and I don't care about you lying to you. I read my aunt's examination report. It's just a stomach problem. No big problem. Has my aunt gone home now? What are you tossing around with this man here?" I sneered, tears fell first, and said, "Ji Jingming, you are really, it makes me feel sick." Ji Zhangming's eyes shrank all of a sudden, and he opened his mouth, unable to say a word. His desperate attempt to catch it was desperately trying to catch it. So he said to me, "You, as long as you make a soup for your wife, I will help you intercede with your aunt. They are not the ones who care, and they will forgive you. In the future, my wife will also be our mother." I couldn't bear it anymore, raised my hand and used all my strength, slapped Ji Jingming, and roared, "I don't have a mother anymore. Never. Are you satisfied? Ji Jingming, I should have let you rot in the first place. You deserve to be alone. Get out." I pushed him hard, and he stumbled and hit the wall next to me. I turned around and walked with Shin Qingming, not looking at Ji Jingming again. Ji Jingming was very panicked at this time. He vaguely felt that something might really happen to my mother, but he didn't dare to admit it. If he did, it would be equivalent to saying that he blocked my mother's way of life with his own hands. Ji Jingming muttered to himself in a panic. No, it will definitely not. Ah Ling, she just cares too much about me. By the way, as long as I stop my aunt's social security, Ah Ling will definitely bow to me. Social security is my mother's only source of income every month, and as long as it stops, we can only bow our heads. Ji Jingming seemed to have grasped a life-saving straw and immediately called his comradess in arms. After hanging up the phone, Ji Jingming lowered his head and looked at the ground, and whispered, Ah Ling, I will definitely marry you. How can you regret it? How can you not want me? But these words all drifted away with the wind, and not a single word reached my ears. After my mother's funeral, when I went to cancel my mother's account, I went to Social Security to withdraw the balance in the card, and wanted to use the money to bury my parents together. But the staff told me that my mother's Social Security was frozen. The first thing I thought of was Ji Zhangming's ghost, and the disappointment in my heart had reached its peak, and I didn't know how to react to him. After Shin Qingming found out about this, he said that he would help me find someone to deal with it, and I was very grateful to him. But he shook his head and said, No, I still have some money. It should be almost enough. If it's not enough, I'll borrow a little more. I don't want to beg Ji Jingming, because that would dirty my parents' reincarnation. Shin Qingming was indeed very busy, and I was embarrassed to trouble him all the time. But in the days when my parents moved their graves, he took a leave of absence to help me. Shin Qingming and I came out of the community that day and happened to run into Ji Jingming. When Ji Jingming saw me and Shin Qingming coming out of the same community, his eyes turned red all of a sudden, and he roared, You actually took him home to see your mother. Ah Ling, you have to be measured when acting. I didn't want to say a word to him today. My mood was already extremely bad, and I subconsciously felt sick when I saw him. Shin Qingming stopped Ji Jingming and said, Mr. Ji, stop in moderation. Since you have chosen someone else, don't bother Ah Ling anymore. Ah Ling will also have a new life. Ji Jingming sneered, looked at Shin Qingming like garbage, and said, What do you know? Ah Ling has loved me for 10 years. You don't know anything. So dare to evaluate our feelings. Are you worthy? Ah Ling, when Tianshan's job is stable, I will divorce her. Don't worry, I won't let you wait too long. I turned around and left. I heard Ji Jingming say that in the past 10 years. I only feel that the relationship of those 10 years is the same as feeding a dog. No, Ji Jingming is not even as good as a dog. He is an unfamiliar wolf cub. Shin Qingming saw that Ji Jingming had been harassing me, so he suggested that I live in his house first. I thought that Shin Qingming had helped me so much, and I should fulfill my promise and take good care of him. But I never thought of having any other thoughts about Shin Qingming. If he had someone he liked, I could divorce him immediately, and I was really grateful to him. My only wish now is for my parents to be buried in peace. Ji Jingming has been very annoyed recently. He can't find me. No matter what channel he comes from, he can't find any trace of me. When friends are at a party, whenever someone mentions me, he gets angry. Suddenly someone asked about my mother's funeral. Ji Jingming was stunned for a moment, and then got into a fight with that person, saying that the person was talking nonsense. Everyone looked at him with a complicated face. Ji Jingming panicked in his heart. But tomorrow was his wedding with Song Tian, and he became more and more restless. Song Tian also asked him, Brother Jingming, we get married tomorrow. Will Sister A Ling come? Is she still angry? I can apologize to her. I really thought my mother was dead. I was really scared. Song Tian cried again, but this time, Ji Jingming didn't coax her like before, but said coldly, Ah Ling is not the kind of stingy person. She should come. In fact, Ji Jingming himself was not sure. He couldn't wait for me at my house. He called me countless times. None of them could be connected, and he also sent me a message saying that as long as I go to the wedding tomorrow, the bride will be replaced by me. But who cares? Even if I see this news, I will only feel sick. He panicked so much that he finally went to the hospital to check the surveillance that day, only to find out that after they left, my mother was sent to the operating room. And he also found my mother's test results acute heart disease. My mother's heart has long become particularly fragile because of my father's death. And over the years, if she hadn't wanted to watch me start a family, she might not have been able to hold on long ago. She just never showed it in front of me. When Ji Jingming saw clearly that my mother's diagnosis record said the words death is confirmed, his mind was buzzing, his eyes were blurred, and he was briefly blind. The doctor next to him hurriedly asked, Mr. Ji, are you okay? Ji Jingming said eagerly, I want to investigate Fong Myra's case. Because the dean had explained before, the doctor still helped to bring up Fong Myra's case, which clearly read, the body is fine, and follow-up is recommended. Ji Jingming had tinnitus in an instant, and the faces of Song Tian and Fong Myra swayed in front of his eyes with the faces of me and my mother. But he could no longer find the feeling he had at the beginning. And he could no longer deceive himself. He could hardly imagine how desperate I must have been after losing my mother. Ji Jingming shouted in collapse. Ah Ling, I was wrong. Ah Ling, where the hell are you? He slapped himself hard and cried heart-wrenchingly. Suddenly his phone rang. Seeing that it was Song Tianshan's number, he hung up directly, and within a few seconds, Fong Myra's phone called again. This time he didn't answer. He just hung up indifferently, and also blocked the phone of their mother and daughter. On the other side, Song Tian looked at Ji Jingming, who had not answered the phone for a long time, and asked Fong Myru uneasily, Mom, brother Jingming won't have an accident, right? Fong Myru said impatiently, what can happen? You have all received the marriage certificate, and now as long as the wedding is held and the raw rice is cooked, nothing can be changed. But Song Tianshan's uneasiness became stronger and stronger, and she said worriedly, Mom, do you think, will brother Jingming know about that? Fong Myra's eyes were cold for a moment, and she said viciously, of course he won't know. He will never know. On the third day, Song Tian was wearing a wedding dress, and many guests came to the house, all of whom congratulated their mother and daughter on their survival, and said that Ji Jingming knew the gratitude. Fong Myra pretended to smile calmly, looking like a widow who had finally survived, but waited left and right, and Ji Jingming didn't come. Song Tian was so anxious that Fong Myra couldn't pretend anymore. And finally, Fong Myra cried to the invited media reporters, it must be Xiao Ji's childhood sweetheart, who has helped Xiao Ji before, and wants to blackmail Xiao Ji to marry her. But Xiao Ji only likes my family every day. My old Song sacrificed his life to save Xiao Ji. Even if he repaid the favor, Xiao Ji couldn't help but come. The reporters were indignant when they heard this, and directly posted a message on Weibo titled A Third-Party Inserts into Military Marriage, which was quickly forwarded in large numbers. Netizens picked up my personal information and kept making malicious calls to me, and after I answered a few, I found out that I had been doxxed. At the wedding scene, Song Tian cried very pitifully, and said to the camera, Sister A Ling, brother Jingming really just wants to take care of me. You let him come back. I won't mind if he takes care of you too. Netizens commented that Song Tian was too kind, and some people even found out about Song's father saving Ji Jingming, and accused me of being ignorant. My heart sank all of a sudden. If Father Song really saved Ji Jingming, then what is my father? It turned out that the reason why my father was not rated as a martyr for so many years was because Song's father was doing ghosts in the middle. I want to ask the people of the past, but it's too difficult. 10 years have passed, and things are different, but the hard work paid off, and I finally found the evidence. I went back to the old house that day, wanting to get back my mother's photos and some tokens, and when I was flipping through things, I found the autopsy certificate after my father's accident and a videotape. It turned out that at that time, my mother wanted to hand over these things to the relevant departments, but was secretly stopped by Fong Myra's people, because Song Tianshan's father also died in that fire at that time. After Ji Jingming fell into a coma, he didn't know who saved him. So Fong Myra put the life-saving grace on Song's father, and the picture of my father saving Ji Jingming happened to be filmed by a photographer, so he brought the video to my mother as evidence. But my mother has no connections or background, and even if she says it, no one cares, and my father was only found to have died due to improper defense in the performance of official duties, not sacrifice, but just a death in the line of duty. At this moment, I saw Ji Jingming outside the door and brought the video to him. After only a few days of not seeing him, he looked very embarrassed. After watching the video, Ji Jingming completely collapsed, and kept muttering, how can this happen? How could this be? He has been desperately repaying the favor all these years, but from the beginning, he has made the wrong object. With tears in my eyes, I felt in my heart that my father really saved the wrong person in the first place, and I also loved the wrong person. Ji Jingming cried and said, Ah Ling, I was wrong. I was really wrong. He was panicked and scared. He didn't marry Song Tian, and he still wanted to save me. So in the past few days, he has been customizing rings. At this moment, Ji Jingming knelt on the ground with a pop, took out a ring that was exactly the same as the one I designed back then, and said, Ah Ling, do you remember this ring? We agreed at the beginning. I interrupted him directly and indifferently, saying, I don't want this thing anymore. If you want to keep it, keep it. Throw it away if you don't want it. I don't even want you. How can a mere ring get into my eyes? Ji Jingming hugged my waist hard, put his head on my waist, and said tremblingly, Ah Ling, I really didn't mean to. You can forgive me. Okay. Seeing that I ignored him, he just turned his head over, and he said in a trembling voice, I will definitely give my uncle justice. I won't let go of the Song family. I lowered my head and looked closely at this young man I used to like with joy. And now, although his figure overlapped with the memory of him, he was no longer the same person he was back then. Just like the tarnished ring that fell to the ground, he had long been distorted. Ji Jingming asked cautiously, Ah Ling, don't ignore me. Okay, I'll give you an explanation. Will you forgive me? I looked indifferent, pushed him away, pointed to the photo of my mother on the table, and roared, I don't have a mother anymore. As for you, You can forgive me if you want me. You let my mother come to life. Do you remember? It was you who killed my mother with your own hands. Ji Jingming was speechless, indefensible, and could only say in a hoarse voice, people cannot be resurrected after death. I will take good care of you for my aunt. Ah Ling. I shook my head and said, my mother's only last words before she died were to keep me away from you. Ji Jingming sat on the ground dejectedly, weak and depressed. What do you want me to do before you can forgive me? Is it okay for me to die? I'll give my aunt a life. I said fiercely. What are you? Even if you die, I won't forgive you. I will curse you so that you will never be reborn. Get lost. This kind of pure hatred without a trace of love made Ji Jingming tremble. I pushed Ji Jingming out of the door with all my might and threw the ring out. I didn't want him or the ring. Then he closed the door with a bang. Just like when he was in the hospital. He did not hesitate to close the door. Outside the door, Ji Jingming was still crying. I was wrong. I was really wrong. Ah Ling, you can't not want me. The only thing I love from beginning to end is you. But does he think his love is something precious, even if it is really expensive? I am not uncommon. Ji Jingming knew that his fault was irreparable, and a touch of cruelty flashed in his eyes, thinking to himself, all this was to blame on Song Tianshan's mother and daughter. He wants to take revenge on them. Later, Shen Qingming reported that Ji Jingming abused his power and interfered with the doctor's treatment of patients, resulting in the patient's ineffective rescue and death. And Ji Jingming was suspended for investigation. And Ji Jingming also issued a statement on Weibo. He told about the relationship between me and him, said a lot, and then released a video of my father saving him, and also reported a series of things such as Fong Myra's fraud. Soon, Fong Myra was investigated. Song Tian was so frightened that she lost her soul, and after searching for a long time, she finally found Ji Jingming and asked cryingly, Brother Jingming, why are you doing this to my mother? Haven't we been nice enough to you all these years? Ji Jingming only thought it was ridiculous and said, haven't I been good enough to you all these years? I am even better to you than to Ah Ling and her mother. How can you bear to lie to me? Don't come to me again. I have filed a lawsuit for deceiving my marriage. We will divorce soon. I will marry Ah Ling. Ah Ling doesn't like to see you. Song Tian suddenly laughed like crazy and said, isn't it? Ji Jingming, you still expect Lu Yiling to want you? Ji Jingming suddenly grabbed Song Tianshan's neck. His eyes were red, and he roared, you are looking for death. Song Tian struggled and said, ha, okay, let's die together. Did you know? Lu Yiling's mother has long known that my father stole her husband's credit, but no one believes her. After she knew that Lu Yiling fell in love with you, she couldn't bear to embarrass you, so she chose not to tell you. And she didn't even know that my father and her husband were taking credit. She was just not smart and deserved to die stupidly. These words completely stimulated Ji Jingming. He almost lost his mind, and pinched Song Tianshan's neck fiercely, as if Song Tian was some heinous thing. And he was still muttering, as long as there is no you, Ah Ling will definitely forgive me. Song Tian cast a contemptuous look at Ji Jingming. Suddenly, many people broke into the house, and the police stepped forward to control Ji Jingming and said, Ji Jingming, you are suspected of abusing your power to harm the rights and interests of others, and you are also suspected of intentional homicide, and you are now arrested in accordance with the law. When I found out about this, Ji Jingming was already in prison, but I didn't care at all. Later, my mother's social security card was finally available, and my father was posthumously honored, and I buried my father and mother together. Shen Qingming has always been by my side. He didn't say too many words to comfort me, but when I was sad, he gave me a solid hug. When I can't sleep, bring me a glass of hot milk. When I was lost, gently held my hand. Shen Qingming looked at me with love and said, Ah Ling, our future has just begun. You can miss the past, but you can't indulge in the past, and your life should also be lived brilliantly. Netizens are very friendly to me now. They are saying that I am too unworthy, but I don't care what netizens say at all. I just know that I have to live in the moment. Ji Jingming was finally released from prison, and the first thing he did after being released from prison was to find me. But the old house had changed owners, and I sold the old house. He spent a lot of effort to finally find my and Shen Qingming's home. In the days that followed, he was fully armed every day, deliberately waiting at a distance, just to see me from a distance. In just 5 years, he has changed a lot. In fact, it is not short. These 5 years, for him, it is simply like a year, and his hair has turned gray, and I, still beautiful and moving, exuding a mature charm, holding a little girl in my hand. That little girl looks exactly like I did when I was a child. Very cute. The little girl always acted coquettishly with me, which made people can't help but soften, and I smiled and kissed her on the cheek. Ji Jingming stood in the distance and watched, thinking to himself, if we hadn't been separated at the beginning, our children might have grown up so much. But there are no ifs in the world. He and I have long been completely separated because of his stupidity back then. It was he who personally buried all my love for him, and he can no longer love anyone in this life. And he will never get any love again. Although he sent Fong Myra and Song Tian to prison and let them get the punishment they deserved, his own life no longer had any meaning. Ji Jingming turned around and left silently, and after he left, I looked in the direction he was standing just now. with a hint of doubt in my eyes, but more indifferent, because Shin Changming had already come to pick up my daughter and me. Our family of 3 returned home happily. After watching me, Ji Zhengming also fulfilled his wish. No matter how miserable he lived, I would no longer care about him. And he didn't want to beg me for forgiveness by selling misery. Later, he decided to go to the border and volunteer as a volunteer ranger, which was 10 years. During an avalanche, he was buried in heavy snow to protect a tourist. At the last moment of his life, he seemed to see me. 10 years old. He went back to the time when he was 15 years old, when he was abandoned by everyone. But this time, I didn't extend my hand to him again, just gave him an indifferent look, and turned to leave. He opened his mouth and didn't stop me in the end. He thought to himself, okay. In this life, without his existence, maybe I would have a smoother life. I hope I will never meet him again. He is willing to never be reborn. This is not forgiveness. He deserves it.